today is Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Calling the meeting to order. It's now 5:35 p.m. First thing that we usually do is take roll call. So if you're here, just sit here or unmute yourself and say here. Alder Presley?
Here.
Commissioner Guzman?
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Here.
Commissioner Moreland?
Here.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Here.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I say Kaiser.
Kaiser, okay, excuse me, sorry. All right. And hi, welcome. Yeah, have a seat here. Sorry, that's all right. You came right on time. We're just taking roll calls now. All right, and Commissioner, right now we're taking roll call. So if you're here, just sit here. Sorry, Commissioner Edwards.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you.
Perfect. All right, so before we move on, I'd like to welcome the new commissioners. I think the commissioners in no particular order say Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Kaiser, Commissioner Westmoreland. We're grateful for your willingness to participate and to use your expertise and your perspective to move some of the work that we do forward. Before we move on to the next agenda item, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourselves and share what you're looking forward to or why you're here.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Christy. My Olympian sport would be swimming. I was a swimmer in high school, so I still try to do it. I am a small business owner. I'm a massage therapist, so I do that part-time. And what else do I do? I'm a volunteer. I love volunteering. I am a hospice volunteer, and I'm also a global shelter volunteer. So I'm very service-oriented.
Well, thank you.
I'm Tanya Westmoreland. What do I do? I sit on boards that pertain strictly to people, from sustainable foods to housing, education. I volunteer for How Neighborhoods, Neighborhoods Association. I'm on that board, senior part. I'm considered a big mama, which is a person who oversees the village. Oh, Olympic sport. Basketball.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, I'm Amber. I'll start with Olympic sport before I forget to do that. I'm a fan that breakdancing is now an actual Olympic sport, so that would be right. That's one of there's not a wrong way, so that's fun. So I'm a community organizer. I live my entire life fighting for social justice causes, policy reform. I've become a little bit of a policy nerd over the last year or so, and I'm finding that in addition to my advocacy arena, I want to put myself in rooms where I can actually be part of a change going forward, and I'm in a lot of spaces where people want immediate change, and that's not the way it works. So I want to be in the room where the needle is moving and be part of those conversations. So in addition to my organizing work, I am the Housing Programs Director for Veterans First of Northeast Wisconsin. I am a Wisconsin Women's Network alumni and currently in this year's Leadership Green Bay cohort. So just really wanting to be more involved in decision making in the community. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. All right. And I guess, for the new commissioners, I guess we could go around for the commissioners that have been on board, just to introduce yourself quick, and then we'll move on. So my name is Terry Yang. I chair for the 8 Boards Commission. I've been chair for the past, or since its inception in 2021. I'm happy to have you guys on board.
Joey, I'm the alder assigned to this commission. I also serve on the Sustainability Commission, and I'm on the Improvement and Services Committee and Parks Committee. And I've met all of you at different times, so welcome.
Commissioners online, Commissioner Hoffman and Commissioner Guzman, could you guys share a little bit about yourselves for the new commissioners?
Yeah, I can go ahead. Hi, welcome to the new commissioners. My name is Commissioner Hoffman, Natalie Hoffman. Yeah, I'm a former community organizer, current substitute teacher, and yeah, happy for you guys to be here. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Steph Guzman. I'm currently battling a terrible bout of influenza, so this is not normally how I sound, but I'm going to keep it brief. I can't give my whole life story, but I will say I was raised in Green Bay. I come from immigrant parents who decided to come to the city because they thought that it was going to be a good place to start something good for their family, and I'm glad they did because I'm able to have an education because of them, and so I love the charm that this place has because it is inviting for all people. And I have been involved in almost everything from working to the camp for the county, for the school district of Green Bay. I'm an alumni of a bunch of schools in Green Bay. I'm a community organizer. I literally, if you go ask all the Latino community, they know who I am. I was also on a TV show. Back in 2014, Ricky Martin was my judge, so it's kind of cool to see him at the Super Bowl. I still have his number, and it was great. It was amazing. It's great to be here, and I'm all about civil rights. I'm all about equality, and that's why I'm here. So, welcome aboard, and I'm excited to get to learn from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. All right, so moving on to the next agenda item. Item C, number 1, approval of the agenda for Thursday, February 12th. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda items tonight?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Okay, the agenda is approved for today. Agenda item C, number 1, approval of the minutes from December 18th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. All right, so before moving on, just a quick note as a reminder, commissioners can always find the minutes and notes on either the city, we have our Equal Rights Commission webpage, or otherwise it's called the Civic Clerk Portal. But if you have any questions or need support, you can always reach out to Joe or me, and we'll assist you. And then before we move on to the first agenda item, I want to briefly acknowledge that this month is Black History Month, and it's a time to recognize history, resilience, and leadership, and contributions of our Black community members, both nationally and here locally. So I just wanted to put that out there real quick. Moving on to agenda item E, regular business, for consideration with possible action to appoint a chair. Joe, can you quickly, so I think the way that I'm familiar with is to open nominations, and then, if whoever nominates, they can also self-nominate. Whoever nominates someone, they can speak on that if they'd like, and then we close it out, and then we ask if they want to accept it, and then if they want to share a statement too, and then we go into voting.
Does that sound right, City Attorney?
Yes, that's fine. All in the open.
Good thing Lacey's here tonight.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, so nominations first.
Okay, awesome. And then also, before we do nominations, just a quick reminder, so the first appointment would be for chair, and the commission as a whole, they're the decision-making body, but the chair facilitates and coordinates the city staff as needed to just move the work forward. So that's the role of the chair. All right, so nominations are open. Would anyone like to nominate someone, or you can self-nominate as well? Alder Presley?
I would like to nominate you, Sherry Yang, for chair. I think you've done an excellent job since the inception of this commission. So I would be very happy to see you continue doing that.
Thank you.
Does that have to come with a motion for a second?
Not for nominations,
Okay.
just gathering a list.
Can we nominate the same person?
It's not necessary.
Okay.
Can we just for fun though?
So Elder Presley said, can we do that? Can we nominate that same person just for fun? For those online who didn't. All right, any other nominations for chair? Going once, going twice. All right, so with no further nominations, then we'll close that out. And then I accept the nomination. Thank you, Alder Presley, and thank you, commissioners, for the support. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve again and to help continue our work. All right, so then now we go into voting session, and I think we could just vote by hand. Is that
Should we
correct?
take a motion in a second?
Well, there's just the one.
Yeah.
so-
So just a motion to approve
Okay.
Terry Yang as the chair and
Okay.
I will make a motion to approve Chair Yang as the chair.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Westmoreland. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. All opposed, please say nay. Okay. Thank you. I will continue to serve the commission as chair. And again, thank you so much for the nomination and for the trust. All right. So moving forward, next agenda item then is to appoint a vice chair. Again, vice chair works alongside the chair in coordinating and facilitating meetings and making sure it moves forward. All right, and then we'll follow the same process as before too. So nominations are open right now. Alder Presley.
I will nominate Commissioner Guzman, if Commissioner Guzman is interested. I think you're a great leader, and I'd love to have you as vice chair.
Thank you. Elder.
And I second Elder Presley on that as well. Any other nominations? Self-nominations?
This is so easy.
Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, if there are no further nominations, then Stephanie is the only nominated person, so we can go into motion. Can I get a motion to approve Commissioner Guzman as vice chair?
Motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Can I get a second on that?
I'll second.
Okay. All right. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say nay. Okay, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Commissioner Guzman. Would you like to share a brief
Thank you.
statement with the commission?
Could you say that again?
Would you like to share a brief statement with the commission?
Absolutely. I am excited. Thank you so much for the vote, and I can't wait to work with every one of you. I think some of the best work that has come from this commission has been when we work together. So I'm really excited to help facilitate that and help be number 2 to you too, Ms. Yang. I appreciate you, your leadership. I learned from you, and just know that it's not taken for granted. Thank you.
I'd like to make a correction. You're not number 2 to me. We're equals on the
You
commission.
know what I mean. If you're ever sick, I got you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for your commitment again. All right. So moving on to the next agenda item. So agenda item F, informational, number 1. Oh, well, I guess I kind of skipped, Joe.
No, it's
Sorry.
fine, it's all good. It's
Welcome to
informational.
introductions. Anyone
Yeah.
else have anything that they'd like to share before we move on to number 2?
Curling.
Curling. Ooh, that's your sport.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good one. Fun. All right, number 2, overview of the Equal Rights Commission's powers and duties and commissioner responsibilities. And I believe we have the attorney here and also Joe here to answer some questions or share a little bit more. Commissioners online, do you guys have that available? Joe sent it through email, but I believe it's also attached to the agenda. It's titled Section 12-11 Equal Rights Commission. And it's a one-pager and it highlights some of our responsibilities and duties.
Looking for it now. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll let everyone kind of look over it for a few brief minutes, and then I'll share some quick highlights, and then we'll hand it off to the city to kind of share more.
Sounds great.
So just a quick few things. We are a 9-member commission, which means, and we follow Robert's rules, so which means to be able to host a meeting, we'll have to have any quorum, which is more than half of the group. So we'll always have to have 5 or more at the meetings. So it's always really important to let Joe or I know if you'll be able to make the meetings. And then also city staff has helped us write reports, annual reports to the city. So it's kind of hands-off for us. We just help guide them. But yeah, those are some of the highlights that I had, but I'll let you guys go into more details, if that's okay.
Start with some responsibility.
Absolutely. So this is just meant to be sort of an overview of both responsibilities and a few of the things that we'll talk about here. But if there's any questions, you can obviously bring them up. And if you want additional training in the future, we can certainly have it. But we just sort of prepared a brief outline of meetings in general, and then this commission in particular. So a couple of things which I think the chair already mentioned, a few of the things on our list, so I apologize if anything will be duplicative. But just in terms of city government, this commission was created by city ordinance. We have obviously other commissions, some are created in state law. We have standing committees, other authorities. This is a commission created by city ordinance, and I believe Chief Waltz handed out or distributed the applicable section. So all the authority that's vested in the commission and the commissioners is stated in section 12 of city ordinance. As commissioners in the commission, or as commissioners in this commission, you are subject to the city's ethics ordinance, which again, this is one of the things on the list. We can talk more about at a future time if there's interest. That's in chapter 2 of city ordinance. The commission and the commissioners are also subject to the requirements of the open meetings law, which we've talked a little bit about, quorum just as an example, and then the Wisconsin public records law. So in particular about open meetings, as I said, we already talked about quorum, but just in terms of the structure of the meetings, the city's practice is to publish our agenda several days before the meeting, but the open meetings law in Wisconsin requires agendas to be published at least 24 hours before and no changes after. There's some exceptions to that, but they probably won't routinely apply to the Equal Rights Commission. We already mentioned quorum requires at least 5 people because there's 9 members of the commission. The commission follows Robert's rules, which is just making motions and moving through each one of the meetings. And as you notice, virtual participation is permitted. Those are just a few basic things. Onto kind of specific powers and duties that you see in that ordinance. There's a minimum requirement to meet quarterly, 4 times a year. There's been different times where I think that has been more frequent, but that's the minimum requirement. The general roles fall into a couple of categories. The first is just monitoring employment, contracting, and program activities of the city. So the city and its many departments, and that can be accomplished in a couple of ways. Staff updates at each meeting, which obviously Chief Falls will provide updates on a number of things, but you can also invite other departments on specific areas of interest that fall into those categories for a presentation or to provide a written report. And then also, the Human Resources Department is specifically required by ordinance to provide a report on the activities and accomplishments related to diversity and equal employment opportunities. So those are a few just kind of main categories of responsibility and the things that take place regularly, and then also the report on an annual basis. So that's the things that come to you, and also the things that you have the ability to request. For what the commission produces, the ordinance requires reports to the mayor and council for efforts to promote equal rights, equal opportunities, positive community relations, and to eliminate discrimination and inequities both in city government and in the city as a whole. That report from this commission is required just one time per year, and it's meant to summarize the activities of the commission. And when we say summarize the activities of the commission, it's directed as you all as commissioners as well, so activities that don't necessarily take place during this meeting in this room, but things that you are engaged in the community as a commissioner. So with those reports, you can provide recommendations for furthering the purposes of and the objectives of the chapter, which again is to promote equal rights, equal opportunities, the list I mentioned, and you can refer back to it. And then also to note any conditions that you all recognize as commissioners, that the commission has recognized in the city that might contribute or detract from equal rights and an environment free from discrimination. So again, there's the first part of that is kind of what comes to you as the commission and the things that you can request. And the second part is the activities that you all engage on, reporting out on those and making some recommendations. And those reports usually go to the mayor and council as an informational item, much like you see informational items. A couple of things to note is that permission from the council to engage in these activities isn't necessary. So for commissioners to engage in the activities that I just mentioned, you don't need permission to do those things. Those are it's part of the authority that you're granted under ordinance. And then just more of a technical aspect on that in terms of the efforts, commissioners should track that information and report it out likely to Chief Falls or however you prefer for that annual report. I know the chair mentioned that staff puts that together. So for you, however works best for you to track that information and then report it out, whether that's during a meeting or just before a meeting, or as I said, whatever works best. That's kind of an overview of authority. Does anybody have any particular questions about powers and duties before I just add a couple of final thoughts about just meeting operations? Obviously, you can ask questions at any time, and that's a lot of stuff, especially for, we have several brand new people, brand new commissioners. And the other thing I was going to mention that we already talked about really to some extent is that the chair manages the meeting. Commissioners can make motions, provide seconds as appropriate, and vote and move through the agenda. This is a commission where the alderperson is one of those voting members, voting commissioners. And then as you may have noticed in the agenda, we have a few regular items, which is approval of minutes and agenda. Then we have regular business, which is often where those actions come into play as we move through the agenda. And then informational items are generally just that, where information is provided to you either orally or in writing, and you can ask sort of clarifying questions of the person presenting that, or the department who may have provided that. Does anybody have any questions? As I said, it's just meant to be a quick overview. Sure, go ahead.
So for our annual report, so the way we do that is get information of our activities and give that to the chair, gives it to staff, and then staff compiles it.
I think just you can send it directly to me,
Oh,
and then
okay.
I can compile it, and then we probably can go over it at a meeting, and then we'll send it to the common council and the mayor.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think based off the conversation that Mayor Joe and I had too, I'll share more in the next couple of agenda items here about kind of how we discuss how to move forward, which is part of your suggestion, having smaller work groups. I think when we move forward, we can make those updates, and then that's when Joe will get those. So yeah, I think that'll help alleviate a lot of that work. Quick question for the city ethics ordinance chapter 2. Could we get a copy of that? Okay, perfect. And then I'm assuming the social media piece is in there as well.
We have a separate we have a separate social media policy, so I don't necessarily think there's a reference in particular in there, and I would need to double check if commissioners are, if that policy applies, because I think it relates mostly to the social media accounts of the city.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember. We talked about that a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember our
It
training.
came up for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll look at it again.
Yeah.
I'll send it to everyone if
Yeah.
it's.
And our training.
Are you thinking about whether you engage in social media and identify yourself as a commissioner? Was that your question in general
I think
about
in
it?
our training, they noted something saying that we weren't supposed to write that we were affiliated with the city and in our personal social media pages, so I don't know. That's what I remember. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has
so
been a while. Yeah,
if
we'll
we get a
revisit
refresher
that.
on
Yeah,
that.
we'll revisit it and give everyone,
Yeah.
an opinion on what you
Absolutely,
can
for
and
the
can't
next
do.
meeting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Not via email or later.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I have a question in regard to,
Sure.
how involved are we in housing?
So that's been a topic that we've worked on almost every year, I think. So I feel like that's like a priority for us. And part of the ordinance for equal rights is that housing is something that is on our radar. So I don't know the exact wording of the ordinance, but I know housing is part of it.
And one other question, is it possible to make an appointment with, I'd like to get to know the board members individually. Is it possible to make arrangements, to meet each one of you individually to have a discussion?
Yes. The answer is yes. Walking quorum would be 3 or more. Is that correct?
Well, there's a couple ways to look at it, but it'd be absolutely fine if you wanted to have one-on-one meetings to discuss just getting to know one another.
Yeah,
Just
you're-
arranging on a particular vote and meeting with all of us coordinating.
Yeah, there's a specific item that you want to vote on, and you met with each person individually, and you talked about how you're going to vote, then that could be a walking quorum. But if you're meeting with people individually, just to talk about general discussions or get to know each other, that's completely okay.
Thank you. Great.
Yeah, and just on the housing really quick, there's a couple of points that would be probably to your point about that in terms of equal opportunities. And that's certainly a category of activities or actions that you take that you can report out. So if you're meeting with an organization and sharing recommendations, or you're meeting with tenants, or you're meeting with a property owner, or you organize some activity, those are the types of things that you would report out on.
Thank you. Any other questions? Commissioners on Zoom, any questions? All right. If there's no further questions, then thank you so much for sharing all the information. And then next meeting, we'll have you back for the social media, or will Joe just report?
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll send an email out
Okay.
on that
Yeah,
before the next
sounds
meeting,
good.
and then we'll determine if we
Okay.
need to have any training or discussion on it, or just discuss it at the meeting.
Okay.
It'll
And
be
if-
fine.
If anyone has any questions that they think of outside of this, they can always reach out to Joe, and he'll work with the lawyers to kind of get an answer for you. All right. Moving on to the next agenda item, number 3, staff update and discussion on short-term rental regulations in the city of Green Bay. So just a little background on that. Over the past couple of years, we've engaged in conversations with the community members and different organizations regarding on the impact of short-term rentals and also housing in general. And we put out a housing report, and then also last year we provided some recommendations to City Council. And so I invited staff to give us an update on where the discussion is, if there's any decisions that have been made. So I'd love to have Joe share.
Yeah, at this point, we're meeting with stakeholders to talk about their feedback on regulations, and the council directed us to not create an ordinance that limits the minimum night stays or the maximum days rented. So we're focusing on the house rules and posting those and making sure the house rules outline parking and noise ordinance violations, stuff like that. And then we're also creating a GIS map for residents to see where the permits are being held. So at the next plan commission meeting on February 23rd, they will look at the draft ordinance language, precision ordinance language. And what I can do is I can send out the draft ordinance language to this group either tomorrow or next week for you to look at it. And then either at the Plan Commission or at the next council meeting would be time to provide testimony or feedback. But it'd be good if there's any feedback for you guys to send that to me next week so we can get that either incorporated or explain why it would be incorporated.
Anyone have any questions?
Yes. I'm curious as to if the subject has been discussed regarding if they're going to be any affordable housing attached to those short-term rentals.
I don't believe so, and I'm not sure what you mean by like attaching affordable housing to it, like the regulations to, and I guess I can back up and explain a little bit more too, in the sense of the state really kind of has dictating what this local municipalities can regulate and what they can't. So that might be kind of the answer to your question in the sense of, like, the city can't regulate short-term rentals based on zoning, like only certain areas of the city can have short-term rentals. You can't put a cap on the number of short-term rentals. So, like, I'm not sure if your question is about affordable housing.
I'm curious to know if they, depending upon how many short-term rentals they get,
Yep.
would they supply any affordable housing? Because once those short terms are in, that's going to eliminate affordable housing.
Yep, so at this point, the state does not allow municipality to put a cap on the number of short-term rentals. So like in theory, someone could buy as many houses they want, turn them into short-term rentals, and there's nothing the city can do at this point. So the Common Council did approve a resolution urging the state to change that law to allow cities to put a cap or have more regulations on short-term rental permits, but at this point in time, the city cannot put that in ordinance to regulate short-term rentals. If that answers your question.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll have like I said, I'll send the draft language to all, and really just looking for feedback on it. At this point in time, we're really trying to focus on, I guess, education and awareness for the short-term rental owners and the residents and what they can do and what they can't do. Kind of like who to call if there's an issue that comes up, where to find where all the permits are online, things like that. And we do have an inspector that focuses on short-term rentals, and he's been meeting with neighborhood associations already, and we're just going to continue to do that. And hopefully we're going to have like a web page that also has information on short-term rentals and what you can and can't do.
Okay, any other questions, any comments? Okay, thank you so much. All right, going on to the next agenda item, excuse me, which is to discuss 2026 goals, initiatives, and priorities for the Equal Rights Commission. So I guess before we dive into that discussion, I just kind of want to share a brief update of our discussion with the mayor and Chief Waltz. We kind of went through the past few years how we coordinated things and some of our goals and accomplishments, and then we talked about our future outlook, and that's what I wanted to share out. So I think we've worked on a lot of heavy, hot topics these past couple of years, and I think the mayor suggested was for us to maybe do more lighthearted things, join community activities, and celebrate the work that we've done. So, I'm in alignment with that. I agree with that. And I think another aspect of that is to invite experts to come to our meetings and to share out some of the work that's being done in the city. And so that's kind of where that's kind of what we talked about. Anything that I'm missing, Joe, that you'd like to share?
No, I think those, that hits it, and I think Attorney Kochar was talking about this before, is you can report your activities and what you're doing to me as well, and that will kind of help track what's going on. So like, if you go to events, if you, go to a community event or something like that, you can send that to this commission, we can talk about it. And so that's, I think, what the mayor was getting at, is just like getting out in the community, and I think kind of telling people that there is an ERC, and there's like, you are the commissioners they can come to if they have any questions, things like that.
Right. Yep, part of our responsibility is to share out and educate the community that we exist and then that there is resources of the city. So engaging with the community and educating the community is big for this year. And we'll also be moving towards quarterly meetings, just because I know that one, it's hard to gather a big group, and then secondly, I think if we were to move forward with working groups, I think we'd get a lot done and accomplished, and then we can report back to the full group quarterly. And so, for instance, if housing was something that you were really passionate about, if one or two commissioners wanted to work on that together and meet more regularly in between our meetings, that would be acceptable. And then once we meet that quarter, then you guys would bring all the work that you've done and share it out there, share out your goals, things that you've achieved, and what your next field steps are, people you've met with, etc. And then, yeah, so I guess, you know, I'm going to open up the floor to see what commissioners' priorities are for this year, what your goals are, what you envision for this commission, and we can go from there. So again, like Commissioner Westmoreland said earlier, or asked earlier, we addressed housing quite heavily the past couple of years, and we can continue to do so. If you guys want to monitor things that are being done at the city level and with other community organizations around the city, we can definitely continue to do that.
So can I just ask a clarifying
Yeah,
question?
absolutely.
In terms of what you want us reporting back to you on, because, I mean, most of my waking hours are in community spaces for some reason or another for different issues. So, I mean, like, to what degree are we informing? What do you want to know?
I think that's really up for your discussion, right? And
Yeah,
you can go ahead, Taryn.
I think from an organizational perspective, I think what you guys can do is work together in your work group and take meeting and minutes in those work groups. And then when we meet quarterly, that's when you bring in all the things that you guys have done.
Okay.
And that's when Joe will collect that information.
Okay.
Because I think that might be a little too tedious and yeah, if you're at 5 organizations in one day, emailing back and forth with Joe might be a lot. So
Okay.
I think that's how we would move forward. Unless anyone else has suggestions, commissioners online or commissioners here, if there's a better way to organize and just kind of keep us, yeah, aligned. Is that okay, Joe?
Yeah, it's really what you feel comfortable with sharing
Okay.
too, and what you think relates to the ERC. That's what
Okay.
it comes down to.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody needs extra email.
You can send as many emails as you like. Okay.
I know, but they pile up so fast.
Actually, if they're not free Gmail, you gotta buy space. Yeah.
Well, space, I guess I'm
Oh,
not sending
wow.
enough emails.
Oh. I'll start sending you more. Yeah, so I think my next question would be then, what are some priority areas for folks here? Health Parsley?
So I've been thinking about this in terms of if we were to have groups centered around priority areas. And it was started with the Economic Bill of Rights, because I like FDR. And then sort of thought about what could we focus on where there may be areas of inequality in the city that we could potentially do something to address, or at least like kind of gauge the temperature of it. So I have come up with jobs and wages, health and recreation, put them together even though they're not necessarily always together,
Well,
but
can you define recreation?
like the right to a recreation opportunity. So that's, yeah, like people should have places and spaces where they can do recreation, third spaces, or parks and green space, that sort of thing. Housing, obviously. Voting and public participation, which would be from the act of voting to protest, whatever else falls under. What are they called? What are those things everybody signs?
Ballots?
Petition.
Petition.
That's it, petitions, anything like that, see where community is on that. And then just not so much as a right, but a general category of community relations. Potentially a subcategory,
Okay.
focus group.
Quick question, voting and public participation, is that something that we can participate in educating people on, or?
I don't know, I think that, I'm not sure how to answer that at this point. I'd probably have to go back to you on that.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it just depends. I mean, obviously, you have to abide by the laws and what you can and can't do to educate people on voting. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we would want to specify what to be cautious about doing, so we can be back the next time.
Okay, sounds good.
You can certainly share all the resources for the city. So we have a lot of resources on the clerk's website, or if you just go to the city's website, just type elections, lots of good stuff there, and then My Vote in Wisconsin. So anyway, like, certainly no problem sharing all the great resources that we have available. And we, like I said, we could talk more about it when you get into sort of events or working directly with people, or kind of setting up a space to create that conversation. There's a lot of, it could be a whole nother training, actually, for that reference. As I'm saying, we can get back on it.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
It's just very nuanced.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I think.
It's a really hard one to say yes or no to.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing up ideas that require training.
Well, probably more just some guidance, but like I said, we have a lot of really great resources, so in terms of just like helping people have access to those or sharing those, it's a good place to start.
Like, one of my questions would be, like, would we be able to take a survey from this, community members saying, are you registered to vote? Like, are we allowed to do that or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay, that's just
Yeah,
a question I have to answer.
yep, and we can think about it, and yeah, and I guess I would just always point back to, like, when you think about the ordinance and the powers and responsibilities, like, can you relate it to that? And then obviously, elections and voting just has a whole different, world to it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get back to you on that.
Okay, sounds good.
In my mind, when I'm thinking about all those categories, it is identifying if there is areas of inequality there.
Mhm.
So is there unequal access to voting? That's not, do people have trouble getting to their polling locations? Like, do we have enough bus routes, that sort of thing? Is there unequal access? And then proposing solutions to that, rather than, going out and registering people to vote necessarily. but
Right,
just
not
looking
that
at,
extent, but.
yeah, what systematic things there are either
Right.
preventing people or
Right.
enabling people to.
Yeah.
And if
That's
the
a great point.
answer is no, would we be able to access that information from a community organization that's already doing that?
Certainly, you could request it, or you wanted to request to meet with them or ask them to present information. I think that's acceptable.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, and also just stepping back to all the Presley's point too about that information, probably not this month, but if you wanted to have the clerk just explain to you, how in-person voting works, or how she sets her hours and time in that process, I'm sure, well, I don't want to speak for her, but I'm sure if you invited her, she would come and share with how she plans that all, as well, the information that you could then share outside of this meeting.
Right. So I guess that goes back to my survey question, because as we've experienced in the past, inviting public to this space to speak and share their testimonies, that hasn't always been the greatest turnout. So how do we engage in outreach? And can we, when we do that, can we do that in the survey form?
Yeah, I believe we can. It just depends what the survey is, right? So yes, we could survey the community.
For most things, you won't get that answer, but for elections, it's separate.
Okay. Okay. So based off of Alder Presley's suggestions for priority areas, it's job and wages, health and recreation, housing, voting / public participation, and then rates. Is that
Community relations system.
Oh, sorry.
They're all rights. Well, they're not rights, but they could be.
Okay. Anyone have any input on that, or want to speak on it?
And what was the phrasing of the first one?
Jobs and wages.
Something tripped an environmental justice trigger in my
Oh,
brain.
health and recreation.
Okay. Are we doing anything around rights of nature?
So the reason I didn't put anything natural, even though there is a big overlap, is because we do have a sustainability commission.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
That conversation has been had at that commission.
Oh.
And I'm also on that.
Maybe that's what did it. Maybe that's what tripped it. Okay.
And there are organizations who, that's what they're
Mhm.
paying ways.
Yeah.
And they're definitely willing to come and speak, talk.
Don't say it too loud or else state legislators will try to shut it down.
We're working on that on a state level and like national campaign.
Question.
Not popular right now.
Events were mentioned. When you say events, something within that communication thing about going to various events.
Sure, yeah.
What type of events would you recommend?
I think, it's open. I think it could be community events, it could be special events for like MLK Day, things like that, Pride Day. It's open. Do you have anything in mind?
Well, I have a couple of things in mind. I do know that I go to a lot of events. I go to a lot of parks. And there are events. And it's amazing how people, and they don't mind doing the surveys.
Yeah.
They don't mind doing the surveys. You know, they don't want serious, the subject can be serious, but they don't want you to come at them serious. And so I feel a lot of response. I haven't been on an event like that.
Great. So I think then what we'll want to do, if everyone's okay with these as like the core priority areas, then I think what we'll want to do is kind of delegate some of these to the commissioners and say who's interested in what, who's going to work together to move this work forward. Anyone have any immediate places or categories that they want to
I want to know housing,
housing?
for sure.
Housing and communication.
I would go on wages as well.
I would be interested in wages as well.
And also home.
I could be on
Doesn't matter which one, just as long as you're with me.
anything that's going to empower the people, that's what I want to do.
Can I nominate you guys for the voting and public participation? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And we are missing also 3 other commissioners today, so I'll reach out to them. I'll reach out to them and see what they'd like to participate in. So far we have in jobs and wages, we have Commissioner Edwards and Commissioner Kaiser. Health and recreation, we have Commissioner Kaiser. Housing, we have Commissioner Edwards. Voting / public participation, Elder Presley and Commissioner Westmoreland have graciously accepted my voluntold. So community relations, I think that one I can definitely join.
I would like to join that one too.
Okay, Commissioner Guzman,
I was gonna nominate.
perfect.
Also, Elder Presley, I would absolutely like to help with the voting, considering that I do know the city's done some good job with like providing like signs in other languages, etc. So I would like to help with that as well. Continue that.
Is that allowed to have 3 members, 3 commissioners in the working group? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, so voting / public participation, that's kept at 3. We have 3 commissioners on that. So that one will close out. Any other commissions? Would you like to join housing?
I was just.
I knew it. All right, perfect. So we'll do Commissioner Westmoreland on housing. And again, you don't have to join multiple ones. You could just focus on one if you'd like.
We'll probably won't be in housing.
I'd be interested in joining jobs and wages if there's any more space in that one. Otherwise, I'm pretty much open. Like, I'd be happy to help out with any of the rest of them as needed.
Perfect. Yep. We'll add you to jobs and wages. Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Okay, so for housing, we have Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Westmoreland, and Commissioner Shelton, if he accepts. So that one's got 3, so we'll close that one out. And then jobs and wages, we have Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Kaiser, and Commissioner Hoffman. Okay, and then community relations, we have Commissioner Ying, Commissioner Guzman for that. And then health and recreation, we have Commissioner Kaiser on that.
I'll tentatively join.
Sure.
Recreation.
Virginia.
Your jam? Okay. So we'll do
I'll be attentive at that if some of our people who aren't here decide they want to be at that. I'm capping them at 3. I don't need 2. I'm busy.
Okay, just going over it again, jobs and wages, Commissioner Edwards, Kaiser, and Hoffman. Health and recreation, Commissioner Kaiser, Westmoreland, and tentatively Alta Preston. Housing, Commissioner Edwards, Westmoreland, and Shelton. And then community relations, Commissioner Ying and Commissioner Guzman. Voting and public participation, we'll have Commissioner Guzman, Commissioner Westmoreland, and Alta Preston. Okay, so I guess the next thing that I'd like to kind of discuss is, I think what would be helpful is if you guys met after this. You guys can meet as frequently as you need, but I think what I'd like to know is like, what are your goals? What are the goals for each of these priority areas? What would you like to achieve? And then if you can break those down into quarterly as well. So, I mean, you guys can either share, if you guys have something on top of your mind right now, you can share that out. Otherwise, you're just going to meet separately and discuss that. But once you have those formulated, then are they able to share? Are they able to email us their ideas or proposals?
Yeah, they can email to me as well.
Okay.
I mean, if they want to, I mean, I could always help, but yeah, like email to you, I believe so.
Okay.
I
Just
mean,
me, or can they copy all the commissioners?
I think it always depends. In the sense of, I think when it's like sharing information and it's not a specific item, I believe they could, right? For just work groups, what they're working on, what they're going to be working on, I think that'd be okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so once your work groups come together and discuss the, 2 or 3 or 4 ideas that you guys are working on and your goals for the quarter, go ahead and email all the commissioners to get us, and make sure you guys always copy Joe in the emails as well. And Joe also sent out a roster with everyone's contact information. If you guys haven't received it, feel free to reach out to us and then we can provide that. Otherwise, review that to make sure that contact information is correct. If there's any updates that need to happen, then Joe can absolutely help you with that. Any other discussions or comments about goals and priority areas?
Seniors. which all of that covers. But I think seniors have to start being a priority.
When I came up with health and recreation, I did have seniors in mind as part of that.
That's a good place to put them, put us. It is. And all the rest of them actually, because that was that. Sometimes we all forget that seniors don't just want housing, they don't just want, they also want recreation, they want events, they want to go. The voting is a top issue. It's a very top issue for seniors. And getting there sometimes is the roughest part.
Yeah, I think seniors definitely fit into majority of those categories, so if in your working groups, that's a priority, then I think you guys can definitely have that discussion. I agree, I think that they have different needs that the community isn't always aware of, so, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so, any other comments or questions? So next, I kind of want to look at our calendar year. So since we're meeting quarterly, I kind of just want to gauge what everyone's availabilities are. What Joe usually does is he'll send out the agenda a week prior to that meeting, and he'll make sure that we have quorum before that meeting. So if you guys are able to kind of look at your calendars, either now or if you don't have anything on hand, email Joe what your availabilities are. So say since, okay, we're meeting this first quarter already, so. Okay, so April would be the second quarter, start of the second quarter. April would meet in April or May, June. Or we can meet monthly if you guys want. It's just hard to get quorum, so. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we'll stick to quarterly. Would May, June, or July? Wait, sorry. April, May, or June?
Is there a possibility that should we need more meetings, we can just propose to have more later on?
Yes, yes, we can.
Right.
Yep.
Sounds good.
I would say May personally.
Okay, May.
Pretty flexible.
Is it you all the second Thursday?
It's up to the group to decide. We can choose whatever
Gotcha.
day works
Okay.
best for the majority of us. Thursdays hasn't always worked out for
Fair.
us. So. I would say, but Joey has meetings Tuesdays for councils, right? Is that?
And Wednesdays.
And-
Sometimes Mondays.
Okay, so Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, Joey will be really busy. So.
Sometimes Thursdays.
Oh gosh.
It's fine.
Is there any particular day that you guys cannot meet?
Probably a day that we never don't want to, Fridays.
Okay.
Tuesdays are usually super active evenings. for
Okay,
us.
Fridays and Tuesdays are off the table.
That would make Joe happy. To come back on Friday.
Okay, so we have Monday, Wednesdays, or Thursdays. We can stick with Thursdays.
Sounds like Thursday's your sweet spot.
Well, it's not all about.
My whole schedule, it just depended on the overall climate of the world, so it has no structure at all.
When we'll be looking
You can
at
also set a
meetings.
different time if you'd like.
Correct.
You can also adjust the time, which obviously you
Yes.
already know, but choose a different time that looks better.
No, boy.
4 p.m. What? Sorry, I missed it. I missed what you said.
4? You like 4? I have to leave work and I love 4.
Commissioners on Zoom, do you guys have any suggestions for the day?
I say we try to stick with Thursday. I know that it hasn't always been you know, the most sustainable, but it's been like the most, that we know Thursday, the second, you know, it's gonna be on a Thursday usually, and at least I've always felt like it was on the second week, so I wouldn't have a problem with just kind of sticking with that, but obviously, the majority rules.
Okay, noted.
Personally, Thursdays have been working pretty well for me, and it's hard because my schedule is not usually consistent, so it's like sometimes it doesn't, but usually it has been. I also am in school right now, and so my school schedule could change come next semester. I'm hoping to avoid more night classes. So yeah, I mean, if anything changes, I can let you know, but as of now, Thursdays are working well.
Okay.
What Thursday are we looking at?
We typically meet the second Thursdays, but I mean, now it could be whichever.
I can go with second Thursday.
Second Thursday? Second Thursday?
I can go with.
Okay, so second Thursday of May then, which is gonna be the 14th.
We don't get it until. Double check. So I will be gone for 2 weeks in August.
Hey, it's already scheduled.
Yeah.
May 14th.
Right, it works out good.
I'm like, oh no, I can't. That'd be great to me.
Okay, so then it sounds like our next meeting will be May 14th, the second Thursday.
Do we want to change the time?
I'm okay with 5:30 if you guys are. Anyone else have any, because I don't get off till 5 anyway, so.
Oh,
Yeah, anyone else though have any other just,
sorry.
yeah.
No, that's completely okay. It's all good. I don't mind 5:30.
We could have suggested 7.
Right, yeah.
Just suggested 11. People thought it was a joke. But that's a good time.
If it's 11, I will be permanently on Zoom.
Okay, so 5:30 then for the time. And then from there, we'll just go every 3 months. That
Okay.
Yeah.
So we end up, we make our quota that way.
Yeah, yep. Minimum is 4 meetings a year. If we need, if there's anything urgent or if a work group wants to update the whole team, then we can always call for a meeting in between those months. But I think, yeah, I'll stick to this one. Yep. And then I'll also be reaching out to do one-on-ones with everyone, and feel free to do that as well with the other commissioners. Okay, so any other questions or comments? And Joe, again, I'm so sorry, I skipped this.
That's completely okay.
portion.
Yeah.
Can I open it? Can I open to see if anyone else has a statement for Black History Month?
Yeah,
Is
like
that
the
good?
commission, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next agenda item is to acknowledge Black History Month. I already made a brief statement, but I wanted to see if anyone else has anything to share or say about History Month. Just to share out any updates or any statements that you'd like to share.
I don't do Black History Month.
Okay, that's okay.
I do Black History Year.
Yeah.
It's the shortest month.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, before we adjourn, the next agenda item is just G, adjourn. So before we adjourn, though, I just kind of want to share a few things. Again, I want to note that Joe usually sends out the agenda a week before our meeting date. So be on the lookout in May for that, and then please let him know if you're unable to make, because again, we can't host any meetings unless we meet that 5-member minimum for quorum. And then if you guys would like to set up a meeting in between that, reach out to Joe and he'll help coordinate the meeting. And then he sent over the roster, so look that over, make sure your information is correct, and I'll be reaching out to do one-on-ones. And last but not least, spring primary election is next Tuesday, the 17th. So you can go to myvote.wi.gov to see more information on that. But yeah, any other updates or comments? Okay.
I do have a challenge. I very seldom miss meetings, so just let me know.
Awesome.
Sounded like a threat.
Okay, all right, the next agenda item is just G adjournment, so can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Meeting is adjourned. All right, thanks everyone.
Now that that's done, I'd like to invite everyone to something